In a world that's so chaotic and confusing, where self-centeredness abounds, so consumed with our amusement, where morality is relative and we make up our own rules, wise in our own eyes, but in actuality living like fools. You see, it's the blind leading the blind. Eyes closed, we take steps. There's a way that seems right to man, but in the end it leads to death. And when death takes the breaths from the young and those we love, we ask, why, God? How could you let this happen? And are you in control from above? And when we watch the news and we seek the views, and I'm affirmed by those who like my posts, every time I swipe to refresh, I see the same message, and it goes, what works for you is cool for you, and what works for me is good for me. You don't have to change a thing. Do what your heart says. Oh, but we learned that our hearts are full of deceit. Because yes, God made you, He knit you together, and He gifted you for a special purpose. But He wants you to live in His Spirit inside you, for you to live in blessings instead of curses, because it's curses, death, that puts you in hearses when you listen to Satan's twist. Because he takes God's truth, changed ever so slightly, and tells you there's no reason to resist temptation or your carnal urges. It feels good. It must be right. Hashtag YOLO, enjoy it while it lasts. Live it up like your last night, because it might be your last if you keep going down that road. Bringing Jesus along for the ride, pushing Him to the side, and you take the place on the throne. But when you're driving and wilding and breaking speed limits, intoxicated on your own pleasure, and then you crash and burn and ask Jesus, where were you? He says, try my way, it's better. But to live His way means that I have to change, and I have to admit defeat. And it's not popular to own your own mistakes. I want to blame anyone but me. But it's me in the wrong place, on the throne of my life instead of on my face. Head bowed, humble heart, surrendered to God's grace. I'm sorry, God. I just wanted people to see me. I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to retweet me. I want to be known and I want to be loved. I spent some time getting to know you, but my phone just buzzed, and I got to get the sensation that comes with those tones and vibrations, because it means that someone's given me affirmation. I'll open your word a bit later. And how can we expect to hear God when He's got so much of the noise to compete with? Especially when His still small voice wants to meet with you in secret and fulfill that deep need that you have to be loved and to be known. And He whispers, you're my beautiful child, and I call you my own. So what's it going to take? And what are you going to do? And if you answer that question at youth camp, then how are you going to carry it through? And are you going to shift your priorities and adjust your time and put your relationship with God above all else? Because your calendar, your Netflix queue, and your stories on Snapchat, well, they say a lot about what you love most to do. And as the morning sun rises and the TV starts calling, or the updates in the sports world about which player is most balling, or the new episode, or the latest thing trending, or the score of the last game, are you going to say, yes, Lord, take time with Him? Or are you going to look at that screen? See, when you're at camp and the music's fun and your friends are all excited, it's a little bit more comfortable to enter in and come before God when invited. But when you get home this weekend and your friends hit you up and they want you to come out and party, are you going to join them and blend into that world? Or are you going to trust that God will finish the work that He started? You see, your Father is a good Father, and He sent His Son Christ. He gave you the Holy Spirit for power to walk in newness of life. So be strong and courageous, and do not be afraid. If you try to save your life, you lose it anyway. So take up the cross of Jesus every day. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? How does life usually end up when we are in control? So God, break us. God, wake us. Let what was dead come to life. And from this place, we march on boldly. Our only boast is in the saving grace of Jesus Christ. And so